All right, let's talk about something that's a nightmare for any business owner: ransomware. For the longest time, the game plan seemed pretty straightforward, even if it was, well, painful. But it turns out all that old thinking, it's just flat out wrong now. The game has totally changed.
Okay, so let's just put yourself in this situation for a second. Imagine you walk into your office and this screen is on every single computer. Bam, everything's locked. Business has ground to a halt. And there's this ticking clock right there on the screen. The message is simple, right? Pay up or it's all gone. What do you even do in that moment? The panic, I mean, you can just feel it. The pressure is just massive.
And for years, this was seen as this really twisted but kind of straightforward deal. The bad guys had a simple promise: send us some crypto, and we'll send you the magic key. And just like that, you're supposed to get your files back, get your business running again. It really felt like the only way to just, stop the bleeding. And fast. Well, that promise, it's totally broken now. I mean, completely. The research is in and it's crystal clear. The game has changed. Paying these criminals isn't a guarantee of anything anymore. In fact, it's turning into one of the worst bets a business can make. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Look at these numbers. A survey from 2024 tells a really stark story. Back in 2023, if you paid up, you had a little better than a 50-50 shot of getting your data back. Okay, not great, but, a coin flip. But just 1 year later, whoa, that number just tanks to less than 1 in 3. So why the big drop? Well, think about it. For these criminals, this is a volume business now. Their so-called customer service is awful, their tools are buggy, and honestly, once they have your money, they just don't care. Okay, so let's get into it. What really happens when a company caves and decides to pay? Let's peel back the layers and look at the hidden costs and the pretty harsh reality of what you're up against. So you've got the promise versus the reality. On one hand, you have what the hackers tell you. Hey, give us cash, we give you the key. It's simple, and it's exactly what you want to hear when you're in a panic. But then, there's the harsh reality of what's actually happening. Businesses are wiring huge amounts of money, only to find out nothing. The data's still locked, the keys are junk, or maybe they get a few files back, but they're all corrupted and useless. So now, the money's gone, and the problem is still sitting right there. And believe me, it gets worse. The damage doesn't just stop there. Think long-term for a sec. Yeah, sometimes the crooks just take the money and run, or the keys they give you are useless. But here's the real kicker. The second you pay, your company's name gets added to this sucker list. It gets passed around criminal networks as a business that's willing to pay. So you're not fixing a problem. You're literally painting a giant bullseye on your own back, just waiting for the next attack to hit. Look, I know this all sounds pretty bleak. If paying is a terrible idea, what are you supposed to do? Just give up? No way, absolutely not. Because a real shift is happening. Smart companies are looking at this new reality and they're changing their playbook. They're saying, nope, we're not playing your game. And you know what? It's working. They're actually starting to win. Check out this number, 30%. That's the percentage of companies, according to that same report, who got hit with ransomware and managed to get their data back without paying a single cent. And get this, that number more than doubled in just 1 year. So the big takeaway here is that getting your data back without paying isn't just some fantasy, it's actually becoming the smarter, more reliable way to go. So how are they pulling this off? Well, one of the secret weapons is something called an immutable backup. Sounds technical, but the idea is super simple. Think of it like a vault for your data that's set in stone. It's a copy that literally cannot be changed or deleted by anyone, not even by a hacker who's already inside your system. All of a sudden, their biggest threat will delete everything. It just becomes completely powerless. It's a total game changer. Okay, so having a cool tool like that is great, but that's just one piece of the puzzle, right? How do you build a whole defense strategy? Here's the thing. The smartest way to fight ransomware has nothing to do with what you do during the chaos of an attack. It's all about what you do before it ever hits. It all comes down to being prepared. So if you're wondering, okay, what do I actually do? Here are 3 things you could literally start on today. First up, audit your backups. Seriously, don't just hope they're working. Make sure they're secure, they're separate from your main network, and ideally, they're offline where hackers can't get to them. Number 2, train your people. Almost every attack starts with one person clicking one bad link. You've got to teach your team how to spot those fake phishing emails, the ones that look like they're from IT or a vendor. And finally, number 3, test your recovery plan. You do not want a real-life disaster to be your first fire drill. When you've practiced, you can swap that panic for a calm, step-by-step process. And really, here's the bottom line. You can't build a fortress that's completely attack-proof. It's just not possible. Eventually, someone might get through, but, and this is the important part, by being proactive, by having that solid, tested recovery plan in your back pocket, you take back control. You're the one who decides how this story ends, not the attackers. So I'll leave you with this thought. It's really not a question of if you'll be targeted anymore, it's a question of when. The old playbook of just paying the ransom, it's broken. It doesn't work. The new playbook is all about being prepared and being resilient. The attack will come. The only real question is, will you be ready?